performance, dad and friend of Ro Delagrasse, the hilarious Ro Delagrasse, aka Mama Moody. Say hi to the folks.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody?
Oh, fine. Has there been anything going on? Is there? I just feel like life's been just so like boring and chill. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
would be
I mean,
lovely, wouldn't it? You know,
oh my god.
not.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you're like, okay. And then the thing with like the positivity movement is like you just gotta think positive.
Right. Right.
I'm like, well,
I'm positive this is a mess. Does that count?
this quite a S show. Um, You know, before we start, I want to tell everybody if
Yeah.
you're on ChatGPT, like Orlando and I are, and it's your best friend, like
Right.
it's my best friend. I
Yeah. It's
just
getting close.
it's get yeah, it's I asked it. I saw this on TikTok. Um, there's different prompts you can use, but
Mm-hmm.
ask it, how do I make a stupid amount of money? And then it gave me a whole plan, but I got a little, my ADD kicked in and I didn't really fit, like I didn't finish the whole But
Go on.
once I do,
Then it's gonna be.
I will
Yeah.
find out. And
Yeah.
I'll add this in there too. How do we
Please. Yeah. Please let us definitely know.
yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said that ADHD is coming up with $1 billion business idea overnight, waking up in the morning and doing nothing about it. And I was like, that is the most perfect description of ADHD ever.
My ADD
Ever.
is very like, if I actually did like, oh, I wanted to clutter under the desk and I do some of that, then I go, yeah, but now you got to go put the dressers together.
I know. I
And
know.
then I'm like, I don't have time. Like,
So
what do you?
so it's funny because one of the things that I've been trying to convince myself of, which is you got to be pretty far deep now in the therapy stuff where you're now having like I'm having a true internal debate where I'm trying to convince myself of a thing. But anyway, no,
Mhm.
I'm totally sane. Why do you ask? Anyway, but is that I need to follow what I do for my clients. And
Mm.
one of the things that we do is in constructing strategies, we identify the specific hows, we identify the steps, and then that way well, it's Thursday and it's noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, so it's time for us to record. And that
Mhm.
way I'm not sitting here going, oh, for Substack I have to write this and I need to send a thing to my client and I then follow up on this money I'm supposed to get, and right, like that I can be here. And it's fascinating because I do it for other people all the time. I just last night was thinking about this. This is what I do all day. And then I will walk in here with no specific plan and just start, like you just said, like I pick this up and then the piles. Now this pile is 2 piles. So obviously what do you, and
I
then
know.
I'm off with the dishwasher. It's like, what are
I
you?
know. Look, I just put chicken in the crock pot. Okay.
You're like, I got to get it where I can. People starve around here.
And honestly, at this point, because clearly there's just a lot happening in my life. Like I'm just gonna do it. If nobody wants to eat it, whatever. Don't care. Like
Yeah,
cool. Here it
I
is.
got it.
Presenting
I
it. You want some? Cool. You don't? Cool. I'm gonna go and do the podcast, and then I'm gonna go, do a couple of things before I leave, and then I'm gonna go get the kids, and then we're gonna come home. We're gonna do the live. That's what we were just talking about, like the phase that we're in. Like you and I, and you and I are in obviously such different phases of
Oh yeah.
parenthood, but you know this phase
Yeah.
I'm in,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
No, this is like, you know, I just say my recollection of it was it never stops.
No.
Like truly, like it felt like it never stops. Like almost like if you feed the kids, immediately upon end of feeding, we're supposed to either be somewhere or somebody spilled something, so I'm cleaning that until it's time for the next. Like it was just like relentless. Is that your experience of it? And I'm not saying I didn't love my kids. I love my kids. That's why I did it.
Yeah.
But like, it's hard.
Right.
Is that part of the experience for you, or do you find that it's more about the like organization of like you're jumping over there? Like, what for you tends to be the sort of core challenge of this time? And for those who haven't watched all the episodes and so on, your kids are how old?
They're 7 and 9.
So yeah,
like
so just so folks get a sense of what we're saying.
Yeah, like today we had 100-day. Today's the 100-day of.
I remember that.
Right?
That's a whole project.
Yeah, they tell you can now. They used to have like things throughout the week, and now today was the costume contest, or you could wear like 100 things on your shirt, or Jayla dressed like she was 100. She had a wig on with the curlers and the glasses, and she was using a cane. I mean,
that's cute.
Jacob's very much like, no, thank you. I just want to wear a shirt that's got 100, and he doesn't want 100 things like glued on. He just wants it.
Oh yeah, that's like right. He's thinking through the experience of 100 things jangling off of him and going.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. Sensory wise, it's a nightmare for him. I was with my mom's friends last night, and like at 11:30 at night, because we were drinking wine, catching up, and I was kind of, we were all talking, and Marissa was like, oh God, I got to glue 100 things to Theo's shirt for tomorrow. And I was like, oh, all right, let's get on it. We're all with the glue gun.
Oh, you're like, all on it? Oh, I love this. I love this.
We were all on it, and we were all burning our hands. By 12:15, I think, we're counting, and try counting 100 things on a t-shirt with ADD.
Right. Good luck, right.
We just were like,
close.
Whatever. It's close. There's 100 things. There might be more than 100 things. Like Jacob would definitely be like, there's more than 100. In fact, he didn't want to wear a shirt under, like it was a t-shirt we had. He had to have it a plain sleeve because he didn't want more than 100 things.
Oh.
So he's very, and then
I like that.
Yeah, he's very particular. And then he wanted to say what Mr. B says, which is, today I survived 100 days of school. That's the only thing he wanted to do. Jayla wanted to dress up like the old lady. So I'm like, okay, so, but you got to get her up, and you got to get her wig cap on, and you got to get bobby pins, and you got to get, and then we got to get to school on time, and, pack the lunches. And so, yeah, it's now I don't have them in a huge amount of activities right now, just, because those are expensive, but we're trying we have ninja class, and I just signed her up for art club, and then we're going to check out a chess club at the library. So to keep them where yeah, it's a constant thing. It's a constant thing in a different way than it was when they were toddlers.
Say more about that, because yes, I remember it being different, but you're in it. So yeah, how do you see this time as different than that time?
Well, then you're so you had twins, so the exhaustion of having two babies. Right? I had 2 under 2. So when Jacob was like a toddler, I had a newborn. And not that one's easier. I mean, look, I don't know what twins blows my mind, but also like having this toddler that's trying to destroy everything while holding a newborn. You're like, I don't even.
Yeah, that's got to be a whole thing. Yeah.
I can't even function right now. So then it was, and by the time they were 2 and 3, the pandemic hit. So it was a lot of like, let's just get through the day, getting the apartment set up where they could have a ball pit and climbing, trying to keep them entertained.
Yeah, they can't go. I mean, yeah, you're stuck in the house with energy, like just 2 balls of energy.
That's it. And like, if we go to a park, you got to make sure you're not by people, and and you can't go on they even closed off the playgrounds. You couldn't even go on the playgrounds,
Right. Yeah, they took stuff down, right? Wasn't that like one of the things, they took swings down and stuff like that?
Stuff down. They put the cross tape up. They, let's just go walk down the LA River. It's
Yeah.
It was, and when we got to be in our pod and everything, you're just like trying to entertain them, trying to um teach them how to potty train, teach them how to say please, like those kinds of things while you're exhausted,
Yeah.
and um maybe we still have naps. We gotta, you can't just sit there and like when they're eating, you gotta be around just in case somebody
Mm-hmm.
chokes, like don't give them
Mm-hmm.
grapes, like then there's sensory issues. And then with Jacob and Jayla, like they were both in therapies. So it was like going to early before the
Mm.
pandemic, it was
Like
going to early
occupational
learning.
therapy, you kind of mean?
Yep. We had
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
before the pandemic, we had feeding therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and then we had early learners 3 days a week. So it was from
Mm-hmm.
2 to 5, like a preschool thing that I had to be there. And you had to be in the waiting room with Jayla. It was
Oh wow.
all the time. And then pandemic happened, and then he went to preschool, and then I still had, I was still had Jayla to entertain, and then the pandemic happened, and that switched to online for like online Zoom preschool with autistic kids. It's a mess. And then
That's the best.
it's
That's
like
the best.
they're they're like running around. They're lunatics. They're just lunatics. They're zipping and zapping. They disappear. They try to take the tablet into the bathroom. I mean, they're a mess. It was a mess. It was just
Oh.
like, and then in the afternoon, Jayla was getting assessed. She was nonverbal and she's on the spectrum too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had to do therapies on the computer while I'm running around chasing her around the apartment, you know, and then like, oh, then we got to do dinner, then we got to do bath and bed, then bedtime, then they're
Mm-hmm.
in bed, and then I had to be like, oh, hey, I'm on a show, hey, I'm teaching a class, hey, I'm running an
Right,
open mic. It was
right.
constant. And then now how it is. Like my friend said it best, it doesn't get easier, it just gets different. So
Oh wow. That is accurate. And I would say
yeah,
that continues, by the way. I would
yeah,
say that is still true right now.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's not that, like, you don't have to worry about bedtime and bath
Yeah.
time. They're gonna eat, like maybe you might be like, hey, I'm gonna make dinner, you want some, but what,
Mm-hmm.
like, what we're doing now is we're regulating emotions, we're dealing with kids, like, things happening at school, and feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of other dynamics, and teaching them like, hey, uh, you know, if you see a friend getting bullied,
Right.
you gotta help our friends out.
Right.
And then there's like, and Jayla's been dealing, like, a boy at school has been like pushing her down, and
Right.
then,
You did mention that to me. Okay. Yep. Is
mhm.
that still
And
going?
then
That's still going on?
no, this hasn't been as bad. There's another boy in class that everybody's been like,
Okay.
you know, oh, him?
Yeah.
Like when we mentioned in the parent teacher conference, she goes, "Oh, yeah, it's been."
That's a thing. Yeah.
Mhm, and then Jacob's like, "I saw him in the bathroom and I was gonna say something." I was like, "Oh, okay, Jacob." Like, but then he left before I could. I was like, "Okay,
Jacob's had had enough.
had enough." And then I was like, "What were we gonna say?" And he's like, "Oh, I was gonna tell him to stop bullying my sister." I was like, "Okay, I, that's an improvement, because you used to hide behind your sister and go, get that kid." And look, Jayla's gonna throw down. Jayla's gonna handle it. Jayla's got it.
I've got to send you. I want to talk. I want to follow this up, but I've got to send you. There's a little video. People put stuff up about their kids, and there's a little video that this woman put up. So she goes like just to see what her kids will do, and she says that she was online and she started arguing with this mom, and the mom wants to fight her and is going to bring the kids to fight and all this. And the older kid is like, "Wait, why?" Like kind of like, "Yo, this is crazy." Like, you can just see the kid like, this is crazy. What are you talking about? And the
Yeah.
younger kid,
Oh yeah.
second child,
Oh
is
my God.
like, I'll
You know what?
fight her. I'll fight. Tell her to bring
Yeah.
her sons. I'll fight. I was like, what a
Yeah.
lunatic. So back
You
when
know
you
what?
picture when you
I'm
said
gonna
that,
do
I'm like,
that
yeah.
because I did that to Jacob when he was like a toddler,
Oh
and
really?
like he was like like 5, I think. I got to do it to him because I don't think he'll remember. And Jayla
Right.
will definitely. I see Jayla being like, "App, let's go."
Let's
I'll
rock. Let's
but
go.
when I
That's
did it to
funny.
Jacob, because I'll do it to both of them just to see the
Yeah,
reaction.
yeah,
When
yeah.
I did it to Jacob, he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, fight?" And I was like, "Yeah, we gotta go fight this person." He's like, but for why? Like, he was like,
Like what? Like what?
why? Like, and when he got bullied, we both, I mean, me and Chris were like, you need to punch him in the face. And he's like, no. And we're like, okay.
That's great.
I mean, he's very like, oh, we don't handle with violence. I'm like,
I
okay.
that's a fascinating thing, and then I want to go back to that change idea because I think that's a really huge idea, and probably anyone who's been an active parent either has heard that before or went, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, especially with Jacob, because he seems to be the more literal of the two in the way you've told the stories. Like he's the one, right? Last time we were talking about like,
Yep.
you know, the joke that your mother-in-law told about, you know, you're a great kid no matter what they say about you. And he's like, what are they saying? Right. I get that. Do you run into a lot of difficulties of, I know I taught you A,
Yeah.
but in this context, we're going to do B. And when I was dealing with the kids and they were little, there was, I feel at peace with those things. Like I've gone through them all already, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, we're on a football field. You're gonna get knocked down. You know, like that's
Yeah.
what it is. But I did realize, like, you tell your kids don't steal, for example. Then you put them in YMCA or YWCA or whatever basketball, and you literally say, go steal the ball.
Jacob would be like, I thought we're not supposed to steal.
It's a reasonable response.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is what he did. And by the way, when he played basketball, if you ask him, I think I told you, if you asked him what his favorite part about the game was, he said sitting on the bench. So when
You
I
did tell me that. That is so funny. As a coach, I'm just like, that is the funniest thing quite ever. But anyway, go ahead. He's like, it's a great time. These are, first of all, these are prime seats. I can see all the action.
Me and this kid talk about gaming. Like, you know, he would say, hey, what should I do differently? Like he asked Chris those things, and because he would like to learn, he's curious about learning, but just it doesn't mean that he likes playing the game.
Right. It's just like, okay, yeah, sure. Since we're talking about it,
how I can be better, but it's not like, look, like I said, sometimes you got to know if you got a Steph Curry or Steve Jobs. Okay, we got a Steve Jobs. We don't have a Steph.
That's funny.
It's
funny.
Okay. Not everybody's Steph. Not everybody's LeBron. It's just not.
Yeah.
So what happened on Sunday, my mother-in-law wanted to go to breakfast. You know, they're still here. And Elliot, like my father-in-law had gone to work and Chris is sleeping. It was me and Jacob and Jayla, and you know, he'd been up for a while, so I knew he was hungry. But she goes, Jacob, do you want to go to breakfast? And he goes, no, I don't. I'd like to have breakfast here. He's like, he likes being at home. I said, and Jam was like, well, we call her, you know, her nickname's Jamma. She goes, Jamma would like to go to breakfast. And he goes, well, I want to go. And she goes, well, you've got to go. Well, then why would you ask me?
Ask me if I want to go.
You
see, so far as I know, I should say, because I know these things are all on a continuum. But I knew what his response was going to be to her because I have said that so many times to people. Then what did you ask me for?
Yeah. Because if you
just so like, I get it. I'm with them.
Yeah.
All right. Then we're going. Apparently that's what's happening. But if you ask me, I don't want to go.
No. Bring me back something. That's it.
That's
Bring
great.
me back something. And then like Chris didn't feel, because she said, well, if Chris goes, then you have to come because nobody's here. We can't leave you alone.
Right.
This kid knows. He knows his dad isn't getting his ass up. Like, you know, Chris didn't want to go.
So he's like, I'll stay with Dad.
Well, then Jayla got upset because she wanted her brother to go. So now Jam is like bribing him. Like, hey, you can go in your pajamas. And for him, that's like, what? I can go and there's a car, like everybody that takes their kid out in pajamas gets roasted. I do not like. My sister-in-law Camille takes Enzo. He's 2, you know, in his pajamas to the gym. She's roasted all the time. But I was like, this is not me, because I would have told him to go get changed. She let him go in his house slippers and pajamas.
Really?
And that boy was enjoying it. He went to.
He was like, that's what I'm talking about. Negotiate.
Yeah, I'm going in my pajamas, my footy pajamas. I'm gonna put on my house slippers, my jacket.
Footy, like, not just pajamas. like pajamas. Like he had on.
Pajamas. That boy was like, cool.
But I want to go back to the change piece. I do, because that really struck me.
Uh,
And I guess my question, because I've done work, why it triggered for me is with the Alliance stuff. I've done work with organizations, and everything I do is change, right? Because everything I'm saying is like, oh, where do you want to go now? Like, what do we want to do now? But even more broadly, like I spoke at McDonald's at one point when they used to have Hamburger U out there in Illinois, and just about like to their Black resource group, just about like change management. Like, what do
yeah.
you do when inevitably things have to change? And I guess I hadn't thought of parenting as a change management process, but it really is. Like the actual needs of a 12-year-old are
Mm.
different. Like you're running a different household
Yep.
than the 9-year-old. And I specifically remember during the lockdown, again, my kids are older. I remember saying to both my kids on separate occasions, hey, just so you know, I've never been the parent of a 14-year-old before.
Yeah.
Like, this is new to me too.
Mm-hmm.
But we're the parents, we're not allowed to be like, I don't know, but at the same time, that's the truth. So yeah, I guess I'm wondering, so I guess here would be my question. Do you feel like you see the changes coming or feel them happening? Or is it sort of just like, because it's day after day after day after day, you can look back and see stages, but in real time, it just feels like.
Definitely, I could see that because like I always say, like at night, I still sing to the kids little bedtime songs, and they love it. But I also don't know when that's going to change,
Yeah.
so I enjoy it. And that's kind of where, I mean, Chris and I were like butting heads on that particular thing because I want to, he doesn't like that I lay in bed with Jayla while she's going, and just because he thinks I'm babying them in a way. And for me, that's how I want to be their mom, because I don't have that experience.
I
So
was gonna ask that. Did he? Like, is that not necessarily specifically that, but like that brand
well,
of nurturing?
I mean, Dina was really, she's great, but she was really like, when they were like, Mom, you're not very nurturing. She's like, what? But then she'll also tell you like, oh, I could never do what you did and stay home with the kids. Like,
Oh, really? Okay.
so,
So yeah. So
but
that's
she
what it
does
is.
it in different ways. And I said,
Right.
your daughters are really like they can call her and be like, Mom, I need my mom. That's great.
Yeah,
And without me
that's
going
sweet.
into too much detail, because
Yeah.
with my particular family, I'm glad that they've got that, but I want my kids to, because also too, you know what, if Jacob's upset about something at 17 and he wants to crawl in bed with me and just tell me about it because he likes to just talk to his mom, then I'm gonna have that. You can, son, because
Yeah.
because you're gonna be living on your own one day or having your own experiences, and I'm not like, you can always call me and you can, but if you want to just sit there and get a hug from your mom, I want you to know that you can. Like I tell the kids all the time, listen, there's not anything that you can't tell me that we can't find a solution to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never want you to be scared to tell me anything. Like I'm sure I mean, I even think about like when they get older, like if the kids are drinking and you need a ride, you call me
I've
at
had that
whatever.
conversation. Yeah, I've had that
Yeah, and I
conversation a
plan to
number of
have
times.
that with them. Like I
Yeah.
also tell Jayla's the type, like when she gets candy from everybody. I've already told her, hey, we don't take candy from people we don't know, or if it's not wrapped, because you have to have that conversation because
Yeah.
what's
I
happening at
mean,
school.
people are nuts,
You
right?
know, and it's people are like, oh, this is so scary to raise your kids in America. Yeah, it is scary.
Right.
Guns in schools is scary, but I
Whew.
also I'm not gonna have them I'm not a homeschool parent. I'm not good at this, so
Mm,
I don't want, and also I don't think all parts of school are bad. I think that there's a lot of fun there. They see their best
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
These teachers are great. We're at a good school. They really like, you know,
Hmm.
like the work that they bring home. I'm like, well, look, okay, put it this way. I just downloaded this app called Buddy. It's
Hmm.
bookie or whatever bookie. It's not a gambling app. It's
That's
called
funny because that's where
it's
my brain went. I was like, what? Where are we going with this? Where are we
it's
going with this?
it's called Bodle, and it's a
Mm.
game for kids that you say what grade you're in, and then you have to, like, you could battle somebody, but if you battle them, you have to answer questions in either math, science, or English
Oh,
language. So it's like a learning app, but you can get your
little
little.
competitive.
It's a little competitive, right? But it's also
Okay.
learning. So I
Hmm.
put in, because they want to battle me. I put in sixth grade, right? Tell me I could not answer these goddamn questions, Orlando.
So you like lived out? Are you smarter than a sixth grader?
I put science,
Oh
got
God,
all the science. I think I got one science question right.
that's
I did
funny.
literature now. They're giving me paragraphs to read. And then one of the paragraphs I have to read was about George Washington. I'm like, this is not like, stop making George Washington to be a good person. He was a terrible person. Like, stop it. And then I had to say, oh, George Washington, but like, please. So now I'm
That's funny.
mad that they're entering George Washington was an asshole. Like,
I mean, it is what it is.
but
He got them teeth from somewhere. But
yeah.
but so how do you do it though? Like, let's really think. Like, because you seem very conscious. Let's take that piece that you're saying about recognizing that hanging out at bedtime now, even if it's seen as babying. Sorry, I'm still getting used to that.
Mm, mm,
Even if it's seen as babying, could lay the groundwork for you getting that call at 17 or 27 that's just, I need my mom, and you want to make sure you're preparing for
mm,
that. How do you show up? Like, if I were to watch you parent, or do you consciously do it? How would you describe like your the character you're bringing to it? Like, what would be your who? Is it a matter of patience? Is it a matter of loving? Is it a matter of like what? How do you show up as a mom day to day, doing all the stuff we're talking about, in an attempt to lay
mm.
the groundwork for what you described?
I feel like, I mean, I think it's security in knowing that your mom's got your back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like when the world feels like a big place,
Yeah.
you have somebody that cares. Like really the mental health aspect, like you're wanted here and you're
Mm-hmm.
valuable. And that,
Mm-hmm.
what I really want them to know. And that
Mm-hmm.
you'll always have a mom that loves you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be kind and we have to make the place a better place than when we left, like when we enter, like make the world a better place than when we
Right.
got here.
Right.
But and we had like, I think that there's a lot of like, well, they've got, Chris is very like the grades of this or that, like um and that stuff's, but I'm more like he's very like with the if you get a, a lower grade, why'd you get a low grade? I'm like, sometimes it happens. Sometimes we have
Mm.
that day where we get a 79.
Mm.
I'm not, because perfectionism has ruined a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that
perfectionism,
your was that your experience, that like that perfectionism piece?
well,
As a child with dealing with your parents, I mean?
to be honest, like nobody was even paying attention. Like they weren't. I mean, I was my brother dropped out of high school like a month before. Like I don't even know why that happened. And they have
Right,
their
like
own, like, well, he was this and that. Yeah, I know, but you could have, like, nobody
yeah.
said, hey, because he was so smart. But, if you hear my mom
Yeah.
talk about it, well, he didn't apply himself. Well, sometimes we have to encourage our kids to apply themselves, you know?
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, just because you've shared about your ADHD and stuff
mhm.
I've read and studied now around neurodivergence generally, but specifically ADHD, I would wonder about your brother.
Yeah,
um,
I'm sure. I'm
just
sure. Uh,
without speaking out of school, I've wondered about my own brother actually.
yeah, because
Um,
they also say ADD can struggle with addiction and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, it all
And
lines up.
totally see all of that. Like, I I honestly I think about, like, my ADD and, I'm self-diagnosed. I should really probably get a diagnosis.
Oh, I
Um,
thought you were okay. Yeah. You probably did tell me that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no, but it's also, like, I thought of a joke for it because I was like, I should go get a diagnosis, but I keep forgetting to make the appointment, like, I don't
Wait,
even know what it's
that's
about. Like, I
that's
put
that that first of all, that's funny, but also that is 100% what happened to me. It took
oh,
me forever because like I'd call and then I'd get some information and I wouldn't follow up and then and I said that when I finally got to the woman. I said it is a cruel joke to have a bureaucracy to get to an ADHD diagnosis. That is a
I mean,
cruel joke. What is wrong with
because
you people?
it's the overwhelm, right? I'm like, well, I have to submit Nissan paperwork for a class action settlement. Then I have to call Amazon about this order that hasn't gotten to me and they haven't canceled it. And then I've got to email a student about work. Like, and then I got to find out about a doctor to tell me, hey, you have ADHD. Great.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely get that part. So I hear you talking about kindness. I hear you talking about patience. I hear you talking about a lot of love. Have you, when you talk to Chris about the parenting piece, do you, is it
Do
usually around what are we gonna do? Or is there any conversation around this who part? Like, is there any conversation? And I'm curious because Daphne and I, in retrospect, I don't think we really talked about it as much as I would now say this. If I were working with a client, right, who came to me
yeah.
and said, I want to work on my parenting, I would say, okay, we really need to talk about the culture you want to create. Which is, I guess
Mhm.
we did some of it. But like, is any of the conversation on that more like holistic, what are we about level? Or does it tend to be more, what are we going to do about 100 days? And let me just say, I'm asking it because everything you described, I would think most parents, and in a funny way, even single parents, right? Because we interact with our world. And even
Mhm.
sometimes, like I said, I was having my own internal debate and I'm trying to convince myself of things. Um, I know that single parents have to go back and forth. Like, oh, well, I could imagine my mom, like, should I let him go to this party? Should I not let him go to this party? Right.
Mhm.
So, do you discuss it from a culture of the house kind of perspective, even if you're not using that language? Or is it much more so like, will you or won't you stay in there until Jayla falls asleep? You know what I'm saying? Does the question make
Yeah.
sense?
I know what you're saying. It'd probably be easier if it was a different dynamic than what I'm going through now with him.
Got it. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I
there's
didn't mean to go there.
yeah, oh yeah, no, but it's okay. I mean, it's that's part of what we've been discussing. Like, there might be certain things that bother you, but for me, I want to nurture them that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were discussing, like how can we, um, you know, he was talking about, well, I'd like to do A, B, and C and run the show. Okay, well, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, if it would look like they would just go take a shower, go to bed, that's it. And I'm like, okay, but if I'm not like the thing that my point to it is, I'm not sitting here complaining about the things I do. I enjoy doing them, like
Right.
picking them from school and dropping them off at school and doing a nighttime routine with them and work,
Mm-hmm.
picking up Jayla and walking her. He doesn't like that I pick up Jayla and walk her down the steps because she's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not complaining about, like, I'm not like, oh, these kids. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy this. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that, and I've even said this to my mother-in-law, I'm like, yes, I know I have to teach them chores, and they do some chores and stuff like that. Not a lot, but I'm saying like, I know
Sure.
that they have to learn how to do laundry. But guess what? I had to do laundry at 8 years old. I've been doing laundry for 40 effing years, and I'm effing tired of doing goddamn laundry, and I have to do it for the rest of my life. So if
Mm-hmm.
I let them be kids for a while,
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
And there might be things that you don't agree with, but why can't they be kids? We're in such a rush to get these kids
Mm-hmm.
grown. They're already grown with the fact that they have to have shooter drills. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they have to go and do, and we have to make it
Mm-hmm.
like, "That's okay. Our society is okay." No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, to push them into, like, they have to man up, or you can't lay in bed with Jayla. Like, why not? Why can't we have
Mm-hmm.
that softness? Because I didn't have it, and
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Like, when we're all Gen Xers going, "We didn't have it," because he goes, "Well, how was your after school routine? Didn't you come home and do homework?" I go, "Nobody was there.
Yeah. Oh no.
Nobody was
Oh
there."
yeah. And you know, that's not since I'll share in my own life. My mother wasn't there because she was at work. It's not like she was like at the gambling spot or
Yeah,
something.
no,
But
my mother
like,
was at work, yeah.
yeah, but
Nobody,
like, yeah, but nobody was there, and yeah, I did whatever the f I
I said,
did when I
"Whatever I
got there.
wanted."
Yeah.
Did I do
That's
homework? I don't even know. Who knows? I remember getting, who knows? I mean, really, I was out in the streets. I mean, it wasn't the
right.
street, the
But
subway.
but but serious when you're 11, yeah, yeah,
I remember, you know what we did? We
yeah.
got a copy of Basic Instinct on VHS, and we were
It's
smoking cigarettes and
hysterical.
playing it, and then we thought we heard parents and fucking, throw the tape. I mean,
Throw the
we,
tape is great.
we were doing all sorts of stuff. So,
Right.
and nobody was home. Nobody was there. I was, a
Yeah.
latchkey kid. I
Oh yeah.
came home. I got in. I don't know. We had a dog. Maybe I tossed him outside. Who knows? We were feral. We were
That's the word.
feral.
That's the
Okay.
that's the word. Seriously. Yeah. No, really. Like when I think about what I was doing at the age of 10, I definitely ridden the New York City subway in the 80s New York by myself. That is no, like, I have no question about that. By the time I was like 13, it was like, yeah, I mean, even the idea of like, why would my mother come with me? Does she
Yes.
need to go also? Like, I don't even understand what we're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Orlando, when I tell you that when I was like 12 or something, or 13, I was like, I'm gonna get this job in the penny savers. And a big fat guy named Gus pulled up with 5 boys in the car. He goes, "Get in, we're gonna sell coupon booklets over in Elmont." I was like, "Cool." What? Like, the parents didn't know. Did they know? "Oh, you have a job? Cool. Did you check?"
Yeah,
If Jayla ever got into a fucking, like, so a
I know,
blue
I know, I know,
with
I know,
Gus,
I know,
and then
I
and
know.
then when I was walking around with the kid that was trying to show me, he goes, "Really glad to have a girl on the team again, because last girl we had, she said Gus tried to touch her." I was like,
Oh
"Okay."
shit. Oh,
I said,
sorry,
"Okay."
but yeah.
Yeah, I
What?
said, "Guess what? When Gus pulls up tomorrow, I ain't coming out."
Gus trying to touch her. What are we
Gus
talking about?
Gus tried to touch her.
So, all right. So let me ask this on the other side of it, and I'm not suggesting that I think this is the case, but I'm asking if you look at it ever and say, "What if I'm overcorrecting?" Right? Like I
Yeah,
have thought that before, and I think we did a pretty good job. Daphne's very grounded. She had a very different experience to me. So like as much as I'm saying like I was on the subway, she was
yeah,
not. She grew
yeah,
up Southside Chicago. She didn't even know the area where she grew up is called the Wild 100s. So I guess you can imagine what that meant. And
yeah,
she didn't even know that was the name of her neighborhood.
yeah. She's like,
As
"What
an
is going on?"
adult, she
Yeah,
met someone who was like, "Oh, you from the Wild 100s?" And she was like, "Huh? What?" So her thing was like her grandmother was there, like that. Not feral,
he's
not
like,
feral.
"Police activity. What is going on?"
exactly. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to run, right? So it's like ridiculous.
Yeah,
So my question is, and I'm really worried about this, is like, I don't know. I never really felt like I understood what normal was. Now I understand that that was true for me on a lot of different levels.
Yes.
But do you ever worry? Yes, I want to be in here with Jayla. I want to create this. Am I overshooting my mark on the
That I
nurturing?
question. Yeah, I mean, and I could be, but when I see all these people that are like, my mom is my hero, and I'm like, that must be
Mm-hmm.
so wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
and or just like my mom is that like,
Mm-hmm.
the person like, oh, my mom, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like, and look, my mom does the best she can, so I'm
Sure.
not knocking my
That's
mom,
fine. Yeah.
but I can. And what? It could be where it's like, yes, I'm over nurturing or I'm coddling or I'm babying her.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you, like, she just looks at me when she's like, she'll always go, Mom, I love you. Just, or like, I'll go, you're my favorite girl. And she goes, no, you're my favorite girl. Like, there's just
Mm-hmm.
like she's such a love bug with me, that I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this is overcut. Like, sometimes when you think about, did I, like, at the end of my life, I don't ever want to be like, did I love my daughter too much?
Right. Right. I mean, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not a thing I've ever heard. Is like their last dying breath was, "I wasted too much time with my kids." Like
Yeah.
nobody says that. Nobody ever
Yeah.
says that.
Like, did I
Yeah.
was I too,
Yeah.
like, soft on my son? No, my son knows that he could talk to me, like, literally, like, "Mom, I have to tell you something," like,
Mm-hmm.
and he feels safe to do that. The fact that
Yeah.
he likes staying home, like, he just enjoys
Mm-hmm.
being home says something, so he feels very safe in that, and I'm like, I can't ever be like, "Oh, maybe I did, you know, hang around them too much," but I'm like, "But you know what? There's people that literally." Look, I don't know if you ever heard, like, Charles Manson share a story about, his mom was like, didn't even want him, like, she was just like a prostitute, and she tried to exchange
Oh
him for, like,
dear.
a pitcher of beer, and he said, I remember the line he said, he goes, "My mom hugged me once when I was 7, and it was the greatest thing I've ever felt, and she only did it once in my whole life," and I'm like, and here I'm worried about hugging my kids too much,
Yeah.
like,
I.
I don't think that
Yeah.
there's.
Yeah. I look. I know people and they get upset about, and I don't even. I hesitate to even bring up the phrase because it doesn't mean what people say it means, and then whatever gentle parenting and
Yeah.
all these things. I tend to be with you in that none of the moments I look back on with any level of regret
Mhm.
are the moments where I was soft, are the
Mhm.
moments when I was hugging, are the moments when I raced home because Maya was too young to understand that when I said I was going out, I wasn't going to be here for bedtime, and
Mhm. Yep.
completely wigged out, and I raced across Los Angeles
Yep.
to get right. Like I will never regret that. There are times where I yelled at somebody that I now go, oh God, I wish I had
Mhm.
that back.
Yeah.
And if I were gonna share, nobody asked for advice as such, and I try to be more in the hey, let's think about this, ask yourself these questions. But if I were gonna give any advice to to a new parent, it would be err on the side of nurturing, err on the
Mhm.
side of loving. And
Yeah.
especially because look, the world's always been hard, but the world is hard in a specific kind of way right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the people who I'm cheering on,
Mhm.
I'm going to say this like it was said just because I think well, I could clean it a little bit. But the mayor of Minneapolis,
Mhm.
told ICE to get the F out of the city. So people were all up and part of me is like, yeah, like at a certain point, like you got to like match the energy. Another part of me goes like, wow, like little kids are now growing up in a version of
Mhm.
America
Mhm.
where the mayor is saying to the federal government and really the president of the United States, get the F out. Like
Mhm. Yeah.
like I think we all could use a hug. Like I think we all need a reset and a hug. Like what the hell are we all doing? Like what like myself included. Like I
Yeah.
find myself on social media now. Like I'm a person I always loved. Like I was the person who there was a documentary done about it. Actually, I should show you the documentary. We should all watch it
Mhm.
on one of the platforms. But anyway, um, a documentary called Black Table, and it was about the Black Table at Yale. And what's
Mhm.
funny is they were making this documentary, and then the guys who were making it, one of them I used to be really tight with, but one person told him like, you gotta talk to Orlando if you're gonna do this, because he was like the mayor of the Black Table, which I thought was like such a hilarious thing to say.
That's great.
But I would show up to dinner at 5 and I would stay until they kicked us out because I
Mm,
was having conversations and
yeah.
jokes and it's political debate, but it was me. I
Mhm.
say all that because I feel like I don't have that part of me anymore. There was a
Mm,
part when I first got on, and I'll say Facebook because you see this
yeah.
beard, so everything else is like newfangled to me. How does this TikTok work? And but anyway,
Yeah.
but I used to actually enjoy engaging with people with different views in a way, and I used to the point where people get annoyed with me that
Mhm.
like, why are you letting these people come on your page and talk this craziness? And I find now I have zero. I am halfway through your first comment that I disagree with before I'm figuring out how I'm just gonna like pull out my sword.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Call
I
you
know.
stupid and go on
I
with my
know.
day. And I'm not saying that there isn't any place for that. Honestly, I actually do believe that sometimes you got to duke it out. But I feel like I only ever duke it out now in terms of that. And I can't think of anybody in my life who I appreciate for differing views right now.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Mhm.
You see what I mean? And so I'm not
Yeah,
saying I should, and I get where like we're not like this isn't like should the middle class be taxed
yeah.
28%? Like this is
It's
like
a lot
I mean
different. Yeah.
I
This
I
is
have
like
my differences, but I wonder like what's it like for kids to grow up in a world like that? Like what's it at least when I was a kid, there seemed to still be a sense when we were kids. There still seemed to be a sense of tomorrow might be better.
well, I think, yeah, I see what you're saying, but and we're saying that, right? But then there's the Central Park 5 that did not grow up like that,
Right.
because they were accused. And so I think that there's
Right.
still it's just that we didn't know about all of it. We're just
Mm-hmm.
inundated now. Like, I
Yeah,
think
that's a good point.
think about,
You
like,
might have known
9/11.
about this, but you didn't know about that. You knew about this,
Yeah.
but you didn't know about that. Right, right,
Think
right,
about 9/11. If that would've happened with ti people would be live streaming,
right. Oh my
like, "I'm
God.
here at the towers. We're gonna
Yeah,
run," like,
yeah. No shit.
or
And then you'd be watching the videos, and then you'd be watching reactions to the videos.
oh, yeah, and then you'd be like have people that go, "Hey, guys, you can't draw conclusions because of blah, blah," like,
Right,
people defending things, and then,
right,
like, the
right.
same perception, like, when I was like, "Yeah, we all came together after 9/11." No, we did, not my Middle Eastern friends, not my like, they were
Yeah,
all so, I think it's we think that it was, like, we weren't exposed because we were exposed to our environment that we had and a newspaper,
right. But it wasn't.
but it wasn't like we wake up and literally, like, breaking news, oh my
I
god,
know.
so there
Yeah.
is like, I was just so I've been sharing a lot of, like, I really think now this might sound like a crazy thought. When read, um, I read African American history, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know this sounds like a weird form of motivation, but I'm like,
Hmm.
there were people that in Jim Crow kind of South, like if they got up and they started a revolution, get the hell up and
I
write a
know.
blog for God's sake. Like when
I
I
know.
see
Not a blog.
complaining about a blog or just do something for
Right,
God's sake.
right.
People had to travel underground for freedom. I
No
think your ass can get up
Yeah,
and make,
yeah.
a TikTok about my crazy mind. Like, what am
Mm-hmm.
I so paralyzed for?
Mm-hmm.
I often say, like, when I know this is going
You're
off
not
subject,
wrong.
but when I hear there's been a lot of things said, um, and black women have been saying, stop saying say her name about Renee Good. And I
Yeah.
don't understand that. You don't need to say
Yes.
everybody. You know whose name you still need to say is Sandra Bland's name. You still need to say
Right.
Breonna Taylor's name. You
Right.
need to say
Right.
all the women that have all the little girls that have disappeared, nobody's checked on them, that go
A
missing
hundred
every day.
percent.
You need to say their names because
Seriously.
nobody's saying their names. And nobody's saying the man that got killed by ICE on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So
In LA. Yeah. Yeah.
everybody's saying Renee's name. She's got
Heath
the
Porter.
coverage. You
Yeah.
know, she's got it. You don't so
Hmm.
but white women aren't understanding that. And then
Yeah.
people, some of the white women are like, well, the lesbians get to no, it's not like no, people are saying her name.
Yeah.
And honestly, with that kind of stuff, it's like I have to look, the fact that, and I'm not gonna downplay my career. I'm not gonna, I've done some great things, but I'm a white female comedian. If I haven't made it, clearly there's something that's in me. Hello. I was a hot commodity. I don't know what the hell happened.
That's funny.
Insecurity, fear,
Right.
fear of success. I don't know.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
stuff. But I can't like but I can't but there's a really a reason. Like there's a lot of things that we've talked about. You have a whole uh, one person show about on stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's things
Yeah.
that I've stuck myself into of
Hmm.
beliefs and things like
Hmm.
that. And
Yes.
it's part of why I parent the way I do. I don't want my kids like to not believe that they can't do anything that they really set themselves up for. Like I will have your back. And if it's
Hmm.
meant to be, it's meant to be. But let's open our minds. Let's like going to college. I wasn't shown college. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
Everybody dropped the ball, and I could sit here and go, well, everybody dropped the ball on me, but I could pick the ball up now if I wanted to.
Right. Right.
But
Yes.
so I have to parent myself, and I'm dealing with my own trauma from growing up through like I'm seeing where my trauma gets triggered, and that's kind of
Mm.
part of like where Chris and I have bumped heads with things like, yeah, I wanted Jayla to have the bigger room because she's my little girl, and I want her to have this because she's my little girl, and I want her to know
Mm.
how special she is because I
Hmm.
wasn't made to feel special.
Hmm.
I remember being at Christmas, a core memory of like, oh, if Marie doesn't like her present, Ro will give you hers. I'm like, I'd like my present. Like those kinds of
Oh
things.
wow.
That's not on the scale of trauma. That's not a
No,
kid's
no,
life.
no. Yeah, no,
But
but I think it's important. Like that's a yeah. As you say that, I'm thinking of a little kid and going like, wait, what the hell do I
yeah.
have to do with this? Like, what?
But
What?
then everybody's going, well, you're making all these kids feel special. Nobody's a winner anymore. They all have participation trophies. Well,
Oh, I'm
look,
so glad you brought up that topic. Go ahead.
yeah, but like, hey, have you ever been told you're the loser? Hello.
Yeah,
It's not any better.
yeah.
By the way, we didn't turn out better. We didn't turn
No,
out like, oh, we're all better.
so I love that you just brought up the piece about participation trophies. There are a couple things on it, and I know we've been almost an hour now, so I'll keep an eye on it. But I do all sorts of youth coaching, and I have such a thing about the participation trophies. First of all, a participation trophy is for participation.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody gets an MVP trophy.
Yeah.
So, what exactly is the problem with saying, we are glad you were here? Whoever wins a Super Bowl, the trainers are going to get stuff, the staff is going to get stuff, everybody gets rings. Somebody who is on injured reserve all year is going to get her. Like, what is the problem with saying to somebody, we are glad you were here? It's not a championship trophy.
No.
You can still have one of those.
Yeah.
You can have an MVP trophy. You can have a most improved trophy. I think it's weird that the big complaint about our time is too much acknowledging each other's humanity. I'm like, that's a weird complaint.
Yes. And
that's a weird complaint.
You're loving too much. When I think about look, no matter what's going on in my life or our situation, my kids are healthy. My husband's healthy. I'm healthy. When I think about people that have lost their children,
right.
I'm never gonna be worried about loving them too much,
Right.
when it comes, because you
Right.
don't know when anybody's time is up.
Yeah. No,
So
really.
if I can love them like this, where it's
Right.
not like, I mean, you talk like, can everybody stop acting like this is Coming to America and Eddie Murphy's turning 21 and getting his teeth brushed by servants? We're not talking about that, okay?
Right. Right.
We're talking about nurturing and loving and just creating a safe, secure space.
Yeah. I,
Because
yeah.
if their feelings are like, if their heart is broken, which it's gonna be,
Right.
because we go through broken hearts, that they can
Right.
come and get a hug from their mom.
Yeah. I it's funny on that piece because I know tough love is a real thing. It's at one point I asked both kids separately. They were teenagers at this point. They were both in high school, and I asked them separately, like, how would you describe my coaching style? And both of them, without hesitation, said tough love, which I was like, okay, fair enough.
Mhm.
There's a little love in there. But the tough was definitely in there, and it's funny that you've said a couple times today, and I love how you talk about your interactions with both of them, but not but I didn't mean to, but in terms of the feedback I've gotten and when I
Mhm.
look back on it, I think Alex, my son,
Mhm.
probably got like 2/3 tough and 1/3 love. And Maya, my child, who, we identify as a girl at birth and non-binary and
Mhm.
what have you, but I
Mhm.
think may have gotten more like 2/3 love and 1/3 tough.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
in some
say.
ways, they are also different personalities. Like
Yeah.
it's very complicated. It's not just like I was, and I also, anyway, my point is,
You're tough though. You're tough. 2/3 tough is probably a lot different than the tough that
well,
you are.
that too. We didn't hit, we didn't,
Yeah.
so like, yeah, that's not, they were never abandoned. Nobody was hungry. Yeah, it was nothing crazy. But I do think it's your point around who have you met who got too much love? And it's funny because a lot of times when people talk about, oh, they're going to be spoiled, they're going to be this, they're going to be that, I actually don't find that the people who I would consider nurturing produce those kids,
Yeah.
right? Like usually I think on a closer look it's more about being permissive. Like you're
Mhm.
not like, Jayla, you can go to bed at 3 a.m. if you feel like it. Which, by the way, when I was running an elementary school, middle school program, there was a kid who fully just talked to me about the fact that he just stayed up into the night playing video games. He fell asleep when he fell asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. It was. I mean, I shouldn't say it was crazy, but it
No,
was,
but
for me. It was crazy. It was
yeah.
like, you're in elementary school. Like
One of
if you were in
my
high school, all right, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in high school, okay, I understand, like, I understand the going more later, the high school kids are like, "I was up till 1 and I wake up at 5." I'm like, "Okay." But
That's crazy, right? Right.
elementary school and even middle school is kind of pushing it, but like, the place I just left working, I remember she's got a baby, like, it's not baby's not even 1 yet, and she's like, "She just stays up till 1 and then she wakes up at 7." You're okay, this is you. You
Yeah.
put the baby in bed. Put
Right,
like,
right, 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 right. Like somebody's got to be in charge here. Yeah,
does she what you want? No, 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 no. That is the actual only time that you can control. You put the
yeah,
baby in the bed.
right. And I think those get confused.
Yeah,
I think chaos and nurturing, chaos and
yeah,
loving can get like blended into one thing.
yeah.
And I also think that means that sometimes we want to have hard and fast rules with kids or
Mhm.
suggest that we should, when hard and fast rules wouldn't work for Jacob. Like I could think
Yeah,
of a family dynamic. That story you told earlier about your mother-in-law, and
yeah.
Jamma says, "Okay, would you like to go?" I there's a family right now where Jacob would have gotten popped in the mouth for saying he didn't want to go after Jamma said, "I
Yeah,
want to go."
for sure, for sure.
And I go, somewhere between the kid runs the house and not being allowed to answer a direct question you were asked.
Yeah,
There has to be a balance, right? Like
yeah,
there has to be
because
a
then you're just
balance point.
creating chaos from he's gonna be like, "Am I crazy? You just asked me a question, and I just
It,
answered."
Yeah.
And we've talked about now. Look, there's some things where he, like when he's answered in a smart ass way,
Right.
trust
Sure.
me,
Sure. Sure.
been like, oh
Yeah.
no, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
even at dinner that night, we ended up going like hot pot, and like Gemma was like, oh whatever, and that's her first grandson. So
Yeah.
he's
Hmm.
just sitting there and he goes, oh, man, I am the king today. I go, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, I'm just the king. I call all the shots. I go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Slow down, buddy. Right.
I didn't say you were the king of the house. And he goes, didn't you say, no, 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 that's your Jamma over there. Right. And then there's Jamma going, you know what, Jacob, if you want to be king, I'm fine with. I go, okay, now you guys are just creating your own unhealthy bound.
Right. This is your universe now. Right. Right.
This is you guys. But
Right.
mommy runs, and I've said, listen, you're gonna be taller than me probably in another year or two. Okay.
Right. Right.
Literally, I go, just so you know, I run the show. There's no, and even on something that he said, he goes, yeah, put it in the cart. I go, oh, excuse me, let's rephrase how to, and he knows, he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So
Right. 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 Right.
it's kind of like, and that's why I wonder how many kids in our generation were like beaten or yelled at or just told we were wrong or loser or we don't know what we're doing because we had all these things that were we couldn't process because we might have been ADD or we might have been on the spectrum or we might
Mm-hmm.
like for him he's just doing what he knows to do and he doesn't feel like he's not doing it in a disrespectful way. He's actually a very respectful kid,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but he processes things differently and he thinks differently and he's just like, I'm just answering the question.
Smart lock Jane.
I'm
Oh,
sorry about that.
no, that's okay. Is that
Get
your
all set.
alarm?
Yeah, that was my wife trying to come in and me going, "What are you doing?" I told her you're recording, and then my door going, "Yeah, it's getting open and closed. What's going on here?" So anyway, it's all good. It's all good, bro. Speaking of
I know
family
you
life, but no,
anyway.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think we should dig into the change piece more.
Yes.
We'll take it as we go, and I like that we flow into our conversations, but that's a big deal. And also, like you're pointing out, that's also a big deal when you're parenting with someone else or people have all sorts of configurations. I don't want to be heteronormative, blah, blah, blah. But whoever has to work out how this is all going to work out in a household. Yeah. I think the stuff you're pointing out is really important. That is change. Also, that what are the triggers, right? Like when you say like the carrying down the stairs, like what does the carrying down the stairs mean to you? What does it mean to Jayla? What does it mean to Chris? What does it mean, right? Like all this stuff gets really complex. And I know there are specific things for me that I'm like, that has to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm very... You know what I mean? Like I'm like, we will have a Christmas tree up. We will like, and that's, and it's kind of like when I stop and ask myself, like as a matter of rational thought, why? But I'm like, I don't care. We are doing
our days. Like now, you're gonna go do your day. Alex has his day because he's an adult,
right.
And Maya is over, not even around you. Like that's
in New York.
In New York, so it's like. Okay, so Maya's she just do it. Like, where is she right now? Like
right. In New York, like that's a place. Like what? Like
she's in New York. Is she having lunch? Like, did you eat?
Right.
Did you have you made sure that are you protected? Do you have a knife stab people? Like, she's just out there. Right. But me, I know I'm gonna go pick up the kids and then we're going to have to come home and do homework. And then we're going to go to the library for a dragon presentation. Like that.
I don't know what it is about the way you say these things. Because I'm like, I 100% remember doing things like this. But there's a way you say it that like points to the absurdity of it. Like where you're like, and so a bunch of adult women who have full lives all grabbed glue guns and made 100 Days t-shirt. And to me, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's really nice. I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy how this all plays out.
But on the other side, Orlando, there's women like, hey, I don't want to have kids. And I'm like, I don't blame you. Why are you giving these women crap? Leave these women alone. Leave it
I
alone.
know. Listen, here's what I will say, and we wrap it up for today. We have plenty more time. I always think it is pure insanity when people pressure, specifically when it's usually women, to have children. I'm like, do you like being a parent? It is so much. Today, we barely like touched anything, and we're both like, I need a nap. To make somebody go through that, and frankly, to make their child, like, think of all the stuff we're saying, like, oh, did I get this right there, get that right there, get this right there. Can you imagine somebody who's like, get it right, get out of here. Why are you here? I never wanted you here. Like Charles Manson.
Yeah.
I say all the time about our current president, if only his father had given him a hug.
Yeah.
Like, if only his father had given him a hug.
I'm about to go have my third cup of coffee and doom scroll. Like, we're not okay.
We're not okay. And I don't understand why, like, there's this need to, like, we should continue this system. I'm like, we should not just continue this system. This has not gone well, guys. Like, I hate to break it to everybody, but I don't see how you look at the state of things and go, you know what we should do? More of what we've been doing.
Yeah, more kids. Bring more kids into this and make these women have them. No. If you look, like I said, these kids, I love them. They are my heart. I love them. They show me lessons I've never thought I'd learn. I didn't know a love like this could have, there's just this, I love them with my soul.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's testing. And when you talk about like dealing with your own trauma or whatever, like, you know, you gotta, like, even now, Alex is 20. Like, he looks physically like me at his age. He comes upstairs with no shirt on, and it's very weird for me because I'm like, oh, that's what I used to look like. But also because, like, we're now two men.
Yeah.
So when we have a disagreement, I've had to, like, teach myself, like, he's not any man. He's your son.
Yeah.
He's still your son, even though he's right. And then we have to figure out, like, all right, that's cool for a conversation. Because I encourage him to stand up to me. I don't like that, like,
I know. Yeah.
And that's
no, I know.
But then also sometimes he goes to a place where I'm like, all right, well, just so you know, like, after that comes push back the furniture. So let's, like, we're going to need to bring it in.
I will show you what.
But don't, let's not do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like, this stuff is all, it's way too hard to force people to do it. And frankly, I think it's way too hard to not help them more, but that's a whole other conversation.
And that's the other thing. It's like, so we're sitting here talking about this, and all of a sudden, like, so you want to tell women that don't have kids, like, hey, forfeit that trip to Italy. Why don't you go to freaking
I know,
the Christmas boutique at the school.
I know.
And bring in ghost-shaped bananas for Halloween. Like, what? I'm sorry. What about what we're doing is so glamorous?
So glamorous. Yeah. So that's a perfect way to put it. I'm like, until you have gingerly removed clothing that has vomit on it, I don't think, like, you don't understand what you are telling these people they have to go live through.
Right?
Like, that's, you just don't.
Your child projectile shit onto your hand because they're a newborn, and you're holding your hand, looking at it like
what do I do now? Like, how do I? What?
And your husband's screaming in the background because he can't handle poop. Like, I don't know what you guys are trying to do to these people that don't want to procreate. Like, leave them alone.
Leave them alone. And it's funny. Yeah. Anyway, I can keep going. I know we do this. You and I. This is why we decided to do this, because we had these great conversations. But yes, I think if nothing else, leave women who don't want to have children alone. What are we talking about? That's, if nothing else, take that from this conversation.
Let them be.
All right. Till next time, we're signing off. Align family. Love your kids, or don't have any. I don't know anymore. Goodbye.